get started. We'll open up a brief statement with Coach, and then we'll take some questions after that.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming out. Big shout out to our volleyball team, Dawn and her staff, and that squad. Really happy for them and the success they had in the NCAA tournament. Huge win for Coach Gates and the men's basketball team. That was just such an exciting environment and game for them. So happy for them. Looking forward to finishing this semester off strong. We've got 2 games left before we head into Christmas break, and balancing finals week is always a little challenging, but the players have done a tremendous job getting in the gym. We know we've got 2 really talented mid-major teams coming in, and that we're going to have to be on point. Lipscomb, obviously a team that shoots a 3-ball extremely well, pretty high up in some statistical categories from an NCAA standpoint. I think they're maybe top 10 in threes per game at a little over 10, and in attempted as well, top 7. So we're going to have to go to that 3-point line and really be on point. But I like our practices. I think they've been intense. We've been able to get after it. They've done a great job balancing their academics, and I know we're looking forward to getting back out and playing.
Robin, as you guys enter this home stretch, how do you feel like your team is, collectively, this year as compared to maybe last year at this point?
I think every season's kind of unique in itself, and I really don't like to get too much into that comparison game. I think our team's come a long way since the beginning of the year when we opened up at Vermont. I think we've had some growing pains, but we've also had some, great stretches of some really good basketball. I think we're in a place of just trying to get better every day. We know what's in front of us, starting with Lipscomb, but also, kind of getting closer to SEC play, and we've got a lot of things that we need to continue to shore up on. But it's a group of young ladies that I think is very like-minded in what we're trying to get done, and understand the work ethic that has to go into every day, whether it's film, getting in outside of what's required, or our focus and practices. And so I'm really pleased with the growth that I've seen in our team since we opened up at Vermont.
How have you seen the identity of your group grow over the course of the non-conference play so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say, in regards to our identity, I just think we play with a lot of toughness. I think we've been gritty. I think we've really taken a lot of pride on the defensive side of the ball, which is, a little bit different than what we have in the past. And I think we've got a lot of players that have the ability to score the ball, so there's a lot of options. I think our biggest challenge was, how do we put the pieces of the puzzle together and play as one, and not get too consumed in what my skill set is, but how do we put team over me, and not from a selfish standpoint at all. I think just from a mentality that we've got players that have the ability to put up a lot of points, and how do we get the best shot for our team. And I think that takes time when you have so many new players, and I think they've over the last probably month have kind of learned a little bit more on what that needs to look like, how to keep that ball hot and create opportunities for each other.
Robin, you're a little more than a third of the way through the season now. What are some areas that you're still looking for more improvement as you finish out non-con play?
Yeah, I think offensively, just finding our rhythm a little bit more. There's a time to create off the bounce downhill, but also, the importance of playing inside out now with just an attack off the bounce, but with our post players. I think we can do a better job of hitting them when opportunities present itself. And I think just the rhythm and the flow. I think we have some really good possessions, but I also think we have possessions where we get stuck a little bit. We don't have the player or ball movement that we need to have. Another area that we've got to get better at is our consistency on the boards, and I think statistically you could look at it and think, oh, they're in pretty good shape, but I think it's fool's gold. I think we've got to do a better job of just all 5 getting a body and kind of gang rebounding, knowing what's in front of us with the size and athleticism in the SEC, and so that's definitely an area that I think we've got to continue to improve on as well.
Averi, coming back this season after missing all of last year, I guess what was the process like for you, kind of getting back onto the floor, and how's it been coming along for you as you're getting back into the rhythm of just playing regularly?
Yeah, I think one thing that I learned pretty quickly, like throughout the summer when I was starting to get back into more like 5-on-5 situations, is it's one thing to be able to go through like individual workouts and shoot on my own and you feel good. And then it's another thing when there's 9 other players running around you. And so just getting back to playing with other people, being in the game. But, I'm really happy to be back out there. And I thought, last year stunk, but I felt like I learned a lot and I'm excited for heading into the SEC play.
And you're pretty regularly leading the team in assists game to game and getting into the starting lineup this season for the first time. So how do you see your role as a distributor, and how would you evaluate kind of how you've played that way through this year so far?
Yeah, I think the assist things, it's a two-way street. I have to do my part, but I have incredible teammates. They're the ones who have to make the shot at the end of the day. So I'm surrounded by a lot of great offensive players, and they make it easy for me when, we're shooting the ball so well and we have great post players. So I just want to do anything I can to help my team and help us succeed.
Averi and Nyah, with a lot of new faces on the team this year, how have you seen your guys' chemistry develop team-wide, throughout non-conference play?
Great question. I feel like there has been like many times where like we just like hang out with each other just outside of basketball. I mean, we live right next door to each other, so I just feel like the little things, like we're just checking on each other like constantly, just outside of like playing basketball. And like even still, like I can like really like just depend on my teammates, like just to work out with too. So like just having like those hand-in-hand conversations, like just being comfortable, like just being able to work out, and then having those outside conversations, like that really like helps build our chemistry as well. So yeah, I'll say that.
Nyah, when you're working in with a new team, how have you seen your role within the team kind of change as you've gone through the start of the season, and how would you evaluate how you've played so far?
Well, I've told Coach this many times, like it's okay like to feel uncomfortable and be in uncomfortable situations.
I told you that, or you told me that? Or we both said it?
We both said it. But like just being in uncomfortable situations, like this is all like so new to me. So like just being more vocal, like I've never had to like use my voice as much as I've had to this year. And I'm okay with that because like I found like the progression in it, and it's actually like pretty exciting because I didn't realize how much of a big role I have on this team, and just having that teammate connection to where like I could just easily talk to them, they can talk to me back, and just make each other better on day by day. So like I just feel like my role has really like been at a bigger setting this year, and I really just appreciate like the toll that I'm being like pushed on. So yeah.
Robin, what stands out about Lipscomb on tape?
Just a 5-out team. They can all shoot it well. I think they create some matchup, challenges when you play with a traditional 5, and they play with 5 on the perimeter, similar to kind of how we played last year. They, I think, high IQ, their ability to read their screening action, put each other in situations to just capitalize on some miscommunication defensively. They'll slip some screening action, they'll ghost some screens, they nail some screens, and so just really going to be important that we're connected defensively in our communication and how we defend some of their screening actions. But I think it can be challenging transition defense when you've got a traditional post playing against a team that transitions into a 5-out.
I think there was a stat that I read that said you guys played the most games like out of any NCAA tournament or any NCAA team, through the early stretch of the year. You guys get about an 8-day break here. What's kind of the benefit of that, and what did that represent for you guys to kind of, get ready for this home stretch before SEC play?
Yeah, so scheduling's always, it's interesting, right? You don't have a crystal ball, and it doesn't always fall into place the way you'd like it to. There's so many things that you got to work around for home contests with volleyball and football and men's basketball, and finding the right time slots for the right teams, and the balance of building confidence but being challenged. And so I think every year it's a challenge, and it's you're trying to put a puzzle together in regards to your scheduling. But for us this year, we really want to maximize the MTE games that allowed us to play 2 extra games than we did last year at this point. And I think as a coach, you kind of fall into the you like your practices to be able to tweak and add on to your arsenal, what you're doing. But I think really the greatest teaching opportunity comes from actually playing live and playing in games. And I think we got to rely on our discipline to go back, watch film. What do we do well? What can we build on? I think we've got a very visual team for some reason this year, which I don't think is good, bad, right, or wrong. It's the kind of team that we have, and so the ability to break down film and then to be able to make those adjustments from game to game is really important. And I think we've done a really good job of that. I think our players have done way more than what's been required in regards to trying to get in the gym and learn and grow and make those adjustments. But I think having so many games in our belt early is really good, especially because we've had so many new players, different rotations. We've got more depth than we've ever had since I've been here as a coach, which is great. And it has allowed us to go pretty deep into our bench consistently this season so far.
How does that grind really prepare your group for SEC play once you get into the thick of that grind?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a grind. I think I just love being out there on the court with these guys, and I think they love playing. It's a really special group in regards to being super like-minded. They love playing the game. They love being in the gym. It's not a group that we've got to drag into the gym and we've got practice or we want to watch film. They actually really enjoy being in here, and so I think we're all really passionate about what we're doing. But I do think the way that we're trying to play this year, more than anything, with our aggressiveness on the defensive end and how we practice every day, has set us up to be further ahead going into SEC play than maybe we were in the past. And that's really predicated on how we're trying to defend this year and what we see night in, night out in the SEC. But I say all that to say, don't think for a second we're looking ahead to the SEC. We've still got 3 non-conference games left, and we know that very talented, well-disciplined, well-coached teams that we've got to be on top of, and we've got to finish this break off strong going into Christmas break.
Robin, I know last year talked a good bit about the freshmen who were getting as much time as they did. How have you seen that group kind of developing through year 2 so far? I guess especially Hannah and Grace and Abby getting as much time as they do, and we can add Averi in year 2 on the court.
Yeah, you really can add Averi in too, and it's been, on one hand we do have an older, mature team, but on the other hand we're still pretty young. When you look at our roster and who's getting the bulk of some of those minutes, and you look at Angie too, a young lady that didn't play a lot, but I would say specifically for that freshman class that's now true sophomores, I've seen a lot of growth in them. It's like, going through the fires is really hard, especially when things aren't going your way. But man, it's so invaluable. Like the lessons that you learn when you go through adversity and hard times, and who you become in that process. To me, that's what it's all about. Not only in basketball, but in life. It's who you become on the journey that really matters, and how you consistently show up and face those challenges. And so, I'm really proud of them. I think they've done a great job. I think all of them, from top to bottom, their game has elevated from a year ago, including our new players. When you go back and watch them on film and you evaluate before you get in the portal and start recruiting them, I think they've all done a tremendous job getting in the gym and working really, really hard. And I think from top to bottom, I can say our team has elevated individually and collectively.
And I guess, post-play was an important topic coming into the year. You had kind of the 4 options. Just what have you seen that you've liked or that still needs some work out of, I guess, especially Angie and Hannah, since they've kind of taken the bulk?
Yeah, and I think Tree has a chance to be really special too. She just came in and we had to work on her conditioning. So I think you got to add her in that. And I think Lucy has a really high ceiling. She had some injuries. So the timing for her, I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm telling you that kid is going to have a very strong career when it's all said and done. Is that this year, next year? I don't know. But I think the way they compete against each other every day in practice has been really important. I think we've got to get more consistency from a rebounding standpoint. I think they've got more in them that they can give to us. But I tell you what, they compete really hard. I think, their ability to finish around the rim, not only in games, but in practice day to day has been really, really efficient. I think we've got to do a better job of playing inside out with our post players. But I think consistently with the minutes, the rotations, I think we need to get a few more rim runs offensively. I think we can get out and go a little bit better than what we've done so far. And I think we've got to do a better job consistently on the boards.
We'll take one or two more if you guys have them. Good? All right.
Thanks,
Thank
you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.